We begin with some news out of Iran, where the Islamic Republic and the United States will resume indirect talks on reviving the 2015 nuclear deal in Vienna starting today. U.S. officials, though, concerned the deal is close to becoming irrelevant as Iran continues to advance its nuclear program and limit the work of UN inspectors. The most recent round of indirect talks between the U.S. and Iran happened a month ago in Qatar and ended with no progress and no set date for another round. For more on this now, let's bring in Professor Uzi Rabi, the director at the Moshe Dayan Center for Middle East Studies at Tel Aviv University. Good morning to you. The United States and Iran back at the table this week, but they've been stuck for months on some key details. So what are some of the concessions the United States is going to have to make as the party that left the nuclear deal under the former administration?
Well, I think it's kind of an Iranian tactic that is similar to what the Iranians actually did between 2007 and 2012. This is kind of a tactic of buying time. I think that the Iranians are working under the assumption that as long as there are negotiations, they are pretty immune when it comes to kind of a military attack, even from the United States or from any other party. So this has become sort of a strategy by which the Iranians do buy time, and they are getting or making kind of a progress not only with centrifuge, but also with weaponization of their nuclear capacity. And this is where we stand. I am not sure that there is something actually to just new to be brought in. And I definitely understand why the Americans are so depressed while saying that, you know, the chances for that kind of a deal are becoming meager. Let's wait and see actually to see how the game is going to be played out. But when it comes to Iran, I mean, they are very, very, I would say, making kind of a calculated risk. On the one hand, they do announce that they have just made a progress with the centrifuge. This is used as sort of a leverage in order to speed up the Americans to get back to the negotiating table. But as I said before, negotiating table means that the Iranian buy time, and this is something that has become kind of a very, very inherent tactic on the side of the Iranians.
The Iran Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nasser Kanani is saying that they want to do this to lift the cruel sanctions against the country. It seems as though also the United States has a lot more to lose, because as Iran continues to advance their nuclear program, even if they were to sign on to this type of deal, the education that they now have, the information, the scientific advancements will not go away. So even if a deal is made this time, there's a two-part question for you. How realistic is the deal, and how can the United States ensure that Iran will follow through on their end of the deal, because they do have this information now and could turn on the United States at any time, as we've seen?
Well, you know, I can do nothing but actually to confirm what I mean, the implicit claim in your question. This is why the Americans are so depressed. Even if they would like actually to get back to the 2015 agreement, they definitely know that this is, you know, null and void when it comes to real monitoring, real actually inspection of the Iranian deeds. And this is why I said that, sadly, the Iranians actually have managed to get the upper hand. They do see what's going on in Ukraine. They do hear what's going on in Taiwan and China. They know that the Americans are in predicament, and they have no intention whatsoever to come to a deal with the Americans, because they are kind of in a win-win situations when it comes to the Iranian mind. If the Americans would like actually to change something, they would have to change the equation. They have to put on the table the option of military option. If that would be there, maybe the Iranians actually would have second thought about things. Since the Americans are coming only with diplomacy, the Iranians feel pretty immune, and this is why they are playing games with the Americans, and they feel as if they are getting the upper hand.
Well, I would note that U.S. President Joe Biden did note on his trip here to the Middle East that he would use force against Iran as a last resort. And very quickly, do you think that's something the Iranians are taking seriously?
I don't think they take it seriously. I think that when it comes to the Biden administration, in my opinion, it's a calculated risk. But what the Iranians have in mind is that this America, which is entangled with so many problems in very, Ukraine, Russia, Taiwan, China, whatever you have in the States itself, they come to the conclusion that the Americans are ruling out the possibility of military option, and this is why they are working that way.
Professor Uzi Rabi, the director at the Moshe Dayan Center for Middle East Studies at Tel Aviv University, joining us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.